Hi, I'm Lisa Phillips, author of Faith Steps for Military Families. Have you ever been in such a frightening situation that you didn't know what to do? Years ago, I encountered a situation like that. Let me explain. It was 1979 and I was 17 years old. I was on a flight from San Francisco to Kansas City. I was flying alone after a visit with my dad and I was returning home to Kansas. I had traveled this flight path often, so when I noticed we were flying unusually low, I became concerned. It didn't look right, and sure enough, it wasn't. Someone back in California called into the airport and reported putting a bomb aboard my flight. Whether it was true or not, that didn't even matter. It caused fear either way. What did matter was how I was going to react to it. What prompted the fear was the realization that at any moment the plane could blow up. The only consolation was that death would be sudden. I kept thinking that this might be my last moment or the next, and so on. When you think about it, when you're trapped on a plane, there really is nobody else to help. All I could do was pray. While I said what parts of Psalm 23 I could recall, the one that goes, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil, for you're with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me." Suddenly it occurred to me, do I believe these words, or do I trust God with this? It was years later that I learned what the rod and the staff represent. The rod refers to a stick. In the Old Testament, the stick was used to count sheep and to protect them from other animals, using the crooked shape at the end of the stick. A shepherd would wrap that crooked end around the neck or leg of a wandering sheep and lead it back to the flock, leading it out of danger because being out alone made it vulnerable. The staff refers to something to lean on or trust and support. Put these two words together, we have a strong protective shepherd that we can trust and lean on. For the Christ follower, that's Jesus. Then, when danger presents itself, God can be counted on to be there with his rod and his staff. His rod protects and his staff leads. I wished I had known that while I was sitting on the plane. So there I was in my seat praying. It occurred to me to try focusing on the mental pictures of those words to that psalm. I envisioned myself strolling along with the Lord in green pastures and beside still waters. As time ticked by ever so slowly, I kept those word pictures before me to help me focus on the Lord, and it did help. And if this wasn't a prank, God would still be with me. He'd lead me to my eternal home. My plane made an emergency landing in Denver. The plane stopped at the very end of the runway, and we all literally ran off the plane at the rear, leaving all of our belongings because we were told to. Escorted by security and taken to the terminal, we were put under guard while bomb-sniffing dogs scoured the plane. It was an emotionally draining day, but later that night, we were able to reboard and fly on to Kansas City. When we encounter turbulence of all kinds in this life, we know God's word can be trusted. We can count on him to be and do exactly what he says in his word. Check out Psalm 37:5, Romans 5:8, and Joshua 1:5. That day, my faith turned a corner. I now realized another aspect of God's character I hadn't known before, that God was also my comforter and protector. If you've had an experience similar to mine and you'd like to share how God saw you through it, go to my Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Faith Steps for Military Families and leave your comment below this video. And thank you for watching.